Hi, my name is Sherry Strong. I'm a chef, nutritionist, and I've branded myself as a food philosopher for the last 14 years. I've written a book called Return to Food, The Life-Changing Anti-Diet. And this book is really based on what has actually worked for me over the past 20 years of working with food, nutrition, and dieting, or what I like to call anti-dieting. You see, I had managed to diet my way into what presently would be twice my size. And all the while I was a chef and teaching nutrition, and at one point was the Victorian Chair of Nutrition Australia. And I quickly realized that not only do diets not work, most of the health information that's actually out there and the marketing is really set up to confuse you. And the result is that people have become addicted to dieting. The dieting mentality has become part of our modern psyche, and people no longer know how to develop a healthy relationship with food, their body, and the planet. Return to Food is just exactly about that. It's helping you return to developing a healthy relationship with food, your body, and the planet. And so as part of that, one of the things that's significantly helpful in this movement is to actually stop dieting and start to develop that healthy relationship. So we've developed the Return to Food anti-diet vow. So instead of making a New Year's resolution or embarking on a diet that you may, at the very best case scenario, continue to march, this is something about developing that relationship and understanding what's good for you and making food choices that love you and your body back so that you can truly be in a position where diets become irrelevant. This is just how you do life, and they're completely unnecessary. So the anti-diet vow, the first part of this vow is to never diet again. And you can find this vow on the returntofood.com/the vow on the website if you want to actually download and copy your own version and sign it and post it on the fridge. So the second part is to avoid restriction and seek nourishment. We know that diets don't work and that people are actually, statistically, people are actually gaining weight once they go off of diets, and this yo-yo diet can actually make you more unhealthy than had you not dieted at all. And that's so counterintuitive and crazy to actually think of, but it's absolutely true. And part of the diet mentality is really about restriction, whereas if we just totally make our focus and excitement and enthusiasm about seeking nourishment and then making that nourishment taste fabulous and alive, diets will become irrelevant. Part of the anti-diet vow is we know that the social context in which you share the meal is as powerful as what you are eating. So it's really important to share meals with people that you love and care for and people who love and care for you. One of the things that I have learned time and time again is that we are a being that's 70% composite water, and so we really need not only water, but good quality spring water if you can get it, at the very least filtered water from a natural source to hydrate your body. And living foods, water-rich content foods are really important to incorporate those into your diet as well, into what you're eating. Not a diet, but the diet as in how you actually eat. Okay, so another concept that we talk about in Return to Food is learning to listen to your body over dogma and science. I've had so many clients over the years and spoke to so many people who basically are eating foods because they've been told they're healthy, when in fact they actually aren't. They're just marketed well. The vow also includes being determined to eat real food at every meal or snack. See, the more real the food is, the more nourishment you're actually going to get into your body. And the body actually turns off its hunger cues based on satiety more than fullness. You can actually fill up your body and find moments later, half hour later, even though you have a significant quantity of food in your belly, you're not nourished, so you're going back to eating more. The next part of the vow is to be mindful of where your food comes from and who has grown it, tended it, and produced it. Okay, when we start to pay attention to these things, we develop a different relationship with food, a more respectful, reverent relationship with food. And rather than being restrictive, it becomes quite beautiful. The next part of the vow is to be present while you eat. And if you forget, as we often do, we get busy and we forget to actually become present, just lovingly remind yourself to be present rather than berating yourself. Oh my goodness, I forgot, and making yourself wrong for doing that. The next part of the vow is to vow to be grateful for the ability and access, the ability to and the access to real food, even if we have to work for it. So all that little extra effort, maybe going to the farmer's market or buying something that isn't in plastic and washing it yourself or chopping it yourself, really does pay a dividend, not just in your health and in the taste and the flavor, but in the benefits it actually gives to your body and the planet. Vow to seek ways to nourish your body outside of the food and fill up with things that make you feel alive. So avoiding toxicity mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So we're really working on the concept of what I talk about in the book is hypernourishment, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, not just about food. Vow to choose foods that nourish, energize, and protect your body, and strive to develop a love for foods that love your body back, foods that give rather than take away from your body. Vow to return to eating real food, which is a stand to return to loving your body, your planet, and that's mindful of all species without judgment of yourself and of others. Okay, so it's really about taking a really peaceful road around what it is you're meant to be eating, and to stop judging yourself and stop judging other people. Often when we're most critical with ourselves, we hold people to impossible standards because we do it for ourselves, and no one can actually win in that environment. Vow that you may not be perfect every day, okay, in your choices, but vow to forgive yourself and to be present, that every meal is an opportunity to start anew and make choices that nourish your body and your spirit. Eating is not just about fuel. It's not just about pleasure. It's not just about connection. It's about all of those things and so many more things. And what's happening now in a world of electronic distancing, or where we become secluded into our own worlds around electronics, and we go into these different worlds, often we become disconnected to the people and the things that matter the most. So the Return to Food vow is just about coming back to the things that actually really matter and are really important to you. If you'd like to have a copy of this vow, download it at returntofood.com/the vow. Feel free to sign it, pop it on your fridge, and if you're inspired to, feel free to join the Facebook page, Return to Food, the Return to Food vow, or the anti-diet vow. Have a look for us online, and I'll include the link here as well. And love you to be part of this community that's really about not just individually returning to food, but creating a global movement of people who are actually doing this in the most joyful and delicious way. The Facebook Return to Food Anti-Diet Vow page. Check it out now.